In 1958, a British author wrote a children's book about a polite, marmalade-loving bear who traveled to London from darkest Peru. Today, Paddington is a global cultural icon. But the real bear native to Peru doesn't wear a blue duffel coat, and it actively avoids humans. It is a highly elusive, wild animal known as the spectacled bear. The name comes from the rings of light-colored fur circling their eyes. These beige and ginger markings extend down the chest and are completely unique to every individual, acting like a biological fingerprint. There is a severe size gap between the sexes. An adult female typically weighs around 140 pounds, but a fully grown male can tip the scales at nearly 400. This is the only species of bear native to South America. It is a highly specialized survivor built to navigate the vertical drops of the Andes Mountains. The spectacled bear's evolutionary history separates it from almost every other bear on Earth. It is the sole living descendant of the Tremarctos subfamily, better known as the short-faced bears. During the Pleistocene, this lineage produced massive, bone-crushing predators that roamed across the Americas. Today's spectacled bear is a scaled-down relative of those extinct giants. The bear has retained some strange anatomical quirks from its ancestors. While all other living bear species have 14 pairs of ribs, the spectacled bear has only 13. Its most crucial adaptation is hidden inside its front paws. The bear possesses an enlarged wrist bone called a radial sesamoid. This extra bone functions as a semi-opposable sixth digit, or a false thumb. The giant panda evolved the exact same skeletal structure to hold bamboo. In biology, this is called convergent evolution, when two completely different species develop the same physical trait to solve a similar problem. For the spectacled bear, this false thumb allows it to tightly grip and strip tough vegetation. This modified wrist acts as a built-in climbing hook. Without this ancient piece of anatomical hardware, the bear could never survive the sheer vertical drops of the Andean canopy. Spectacled bears inhabit a narrow strip of territory stretching across Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and Bolivia. Their primary domain is the cloud forest, high-altitude environments between 8,000 and 14,000 feet, where the tropical canopy is constantly wrapped in heavy mist. To navigate this environment, they use their long, curved claws and false thumbs to scale tree trunks that are completely vertical, climbing dozens of feet off the forest floor. Once they reach the upper canopy, they engage in a rare architectural behavior. The bears will grab thick, live branches, bending and snapping them inward to weave together large, leafy platforms. These structures act as both secure beds to sleep out of reach from ground predators like jaguars, and elevated feeding stations that let them sit and harvest a rich cluster of fruit for days at a time. Because the cloud forest climate produces a continuous supply of vegetation, the bears never run out of calories. They have completely bypassed the need to hibernate. Even though they descend from apex mammalian predators, spectacled bears eat almost no meat. Between 90 and 95% of their diet is entirely plant-based. A fibrous diet requires severe mechanical leverage. Their deep, short snouts allow their massive jaw muscles to anchor tightly to the skull and generate immense crushing force. They need that bite force to process the toughest plants in the Andes. They use their jaws to rip apart the spiny, fibrous leaves of bromeliads and crack open thick palm trunks to access the soft hearts inside. They also consume massive quantities of sugar-rich fruits, swallowing the fleshy parts and the large seeds entirely whole. As the bear travels across miles of steep, mountainous terrain, those intact seeds pass entirely through its digestive tract. They are deposited in new areas, packaged in nutrient-rich fertilizer. By eating heavy fruits in one valley and depositing the seeds in another, the bear physically plants the next generation of trees. It acts as the ultimate forest gardener, dispersing seeds that are too large for birds or smaller mammals to carry. Because they are naturally shy, much of the spectacled bear's family life remains hidden from researchers. We know females typically give birth to 1 or 2 cubs at a time, and the newborns are incredibly small, often weighing less than a single pound. To survive the dense brush of the forest floor, the cubs quickly learn to hitch a ride, clinging tightly to their mother's back as she walks and climbs. They communicate with these cubs using sounds you wouldn't expect from a bear. Instead of roaring, spectacled bears produce soft purrs, high-pitched coos, and rapid jaw-clacking noises. But this quiet family dynamic is being severely disrupted. As human agriculture and logging operations push higher into the mountains, the bear's continuous forest habitat is being fractured into isolated patches. The International Union for Conservation of Nature currently classifies the species as vulnerable. By some estimates, there may be fewer than 10,000 mature adults left in the wild. Saving the real bear from darkest Peru is a strict ecological necessity. If the spectacled bear disappears, the Andes lose the primary architect of the cloud forest, and the entire ecosystem loses its ability to regrow.